What's good, y'all? I've got some huge and much needed buffs for Electivire. He is really, really cool now with the ability Volt Rush, which doubles his speed under electric terrain, which is great. Not only because electric terrain is now a TM that you can teach at any time to a lot of electric and steel and other type Pokemon, and then you can parting shot or Volt Switch into your Electivire and go to town and become incredibly fast and incredibly strong. You also, of course, have that new Fighting Stab, which I'm not even going to dwell on for a second. That's something that people have been asking for years. It's not a controversial type change whatsoever. Proficiency functions like Beast Boost, so he can boost his attack, special attack, or his speed. In fact, I specifically designed his speed stat to be high enough so that way you can actually, depending on your nature and your IVs, you can actually get a speed boost with proficiency depending on, how many EVs you put into attack, depending on your nature, all that stuff. So that's pretty sick. He's a great mixed attacker. I did give him more special attack just because I had the base stat total points, and I like him being a mixed attacker. Like logic-wise, it makes a lot of sense, and it's pretty cool. And also, it's always nice to have mixed attackers in this ROM hack because you do have access to infinite usability capsules and instant EV training items, so you can easily customize your EV spreads, abilities, move sets via TM and tutor at will. It's very, very, flexible and strategic, and you get a lot of different cool options. But before I get into it anymore, I do want to have a quick disclaimer for any new viewers. If this type of thing interests you, I highly, highly encourage you to check out the Google Sheet linked down below in the description. As you can see on screen, I'm going to switch to the tab right now. On the bottom of this, the Google Sheet, you'll see all these little tabs. There's a bunch of useful ones, but the most important one by far is the move sheet, where I have buffed and changed 600 moves. As you can see me scrolling, probably lagging on the recording because of how quick I'm scrolling, but yeah, you click these categories, you look at all these crazy new moves, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, it's really, really important to check out these move buffs and changes. I'm not going to get into all of them in this video because I just don't have time, but I will cover a couple of important ones that apply to Electivire specifically if I have the time or if I remember to do it. But yeah, Volt Rush, incredibly strong. You do have access to those infinite EV training items, so you can actually run full mixed with Volt Rush because of your base 107 speed, which otherwise I would argue it doesn't fit that well. I would say somewhere in the 90 range fits his design a little bit better. But number one, he is an electric type. Number two, speed stats in general are a lot higher in this hack. And number three, I wanted him to be able to get a speed boost with proficiency is the main thing here. I would have liked to keep the special defense, but it is what it is. I like fully mixed, as also this way you can also get a special attack boost with proficiency easier, because he does have that incredible mixed move pool with all types of coverage moves and stab moves. And like I was saying earlier, with those infinite retraining items, you can either run max HP, max attack / special attack with Volt Rush, and you can become incredibly bulky and incredibly fast, or you can go to town with max attack, special attack, and click stuff like Superpower, which drops your attack by 2 and is 150 base power, and Zat Cannon, which is the same thing, but on the special side, it kind of functions like Draco Meteor. Electabuzz is also a totally viable option. It has less weaknesses because it's a pure electric type, so if you don't want a fighting type for a specific boss fight, maybe, you're weak to, I don't know, you're weak to Psychic or something, and there's a very specific boss fight coming up. Maybe you would wait to evolve a couple levels to keep a viable Electabuzz, because it is significantly bulkier than Electivire with that Eviolite, and you can run Volt Rush with max HP and be really bulky and really fast with Electabuzz because you outspeed pretty much everything in the game. I believe he is the second fastest Swift Swim type ability Pokemon in the game. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's in this hack at least. The only one I could think of that's faster right now is Sweltering. But yeah, it's really cool. It's nice to be a mixed attacker with abilities like Volt Rush and Solar Rush and, all these other Swift Swim and stuff, because you can run max attack and special attack with those infinite retraining items. Otherwise, with proficiency, you're probably always just going to run max speed and then max in one of your offenses. You can always speed creep, though. Like, for example, with Choice Scarf, you can actually run no speed investment and switch in your Electivire, get a specific Pokemon, get a proficiency boost, and, go to town with max HP to live a first impression or another priority move and kill them off that way. But as I was saying earlier, Electabuzz is a viable option over Electivire. It's a bit more boring in my opinion. Same goes for Magmar versus Magmortar. But if you like Electabuzz, or you need the bulk from Eviolite, or you need the pure electric typing, then you can go ahead and keep Electabuzz. It's not a bad option at all. It's a great Pokemon, and it's totally great until level 40, which is when they evolve now, because they are a semi-pseudo-legendary is what I call these guys. There's a dozen new Pokemon that have the same base stat total range. In fact, for example, like Rhydon and Rhyperior are 525 into 575. Typically, they're actually 455 into 575 for typical semi-pseudos, I don't know, Mamoswine or something. But since Electabuzz and Magmar and Rhydon are their own Pokemon, I said they can have 525 stat total. Same with like Onyx. You know, typically pseudos are like 480 into 600. Oof, Jesus, excuse me. But yeah. Otherwise, though, he's got all types of ways to boost his speed up, not just with the Volt Rush, although he is really strong and really fast under terrain, like he's crazy. You also have great utility. You know, you got Parting Shot, you got Recharge, you got Strange Impulse. You know, all types of Pokemon can fulfill all types of different roles in this hack. He's not just like an Unga Bunga Volt Rush Pokemon, although he is very strong under Volt Rush. He has tons of other different ways to, you know, abuse his move pool and stat distribution and abilities and all that stuff. All Pokemon are intended to be used with an infinite use ability capsule, so you can cycle between Proficiency and Volt Rush whenever you need it. Again, Proficiency with priority moves is also great. Spark and Shockwave are priority moves, both 55 base power, and then you have there's a couple more. Vacuum Wave and Mach Punch upon evolution. Vacuum Wave being the same as Shockwave and Spark, 55 base power priority. And then Mach Punch is like regular standard priority move, 45 base power. But those are all great with proficiency. As well as Sucker Punch and First Impression via TM. Powerful stab options of all different sorts late game once you get like the strong TMs and level up moves like Submission and Electro Assault, especially like crazy strong 150 base power, drop your attack and special attack. Sorry, drop your defense and special defense by 2, 1. Man, I am all over the place. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm like bulk recording all these videos. I'm just trying to get them out of the way. Because I did these busting changes months ago. I just went and touched up their level up movesets and, you know, maybe tweaked their stats a bit, abilities a bit from the original iterations of them. But as a whole, Electabuzz was pretty much unchanged stat-wise and ability-wise, but from the original versions. But yeah, Electro Ball, that gives you +1 speed. So the first use of Electro Ball will still be pretty weak, but after that you'll get +1 speed, which is really strong. Zing Zap also gives you +1 speed. That's 85 base power. So that's really strong. The main downside is that number 1, it's not reteachable, and number 2, what am I trying to say here? It has 90% accuracy. Sorry, I'm really flustered right now, but yeah, 90% accuracy with that Zing Zap is pretty damn great. What am I saying? Yo, hold on, let me just take a second to collect my thoughts because I'm just speaking shit right now. I was trying to say that the 90% accuracy is actually a pretty big drawback in a hardcore Nuzlocke, which is kind of what the hack is balanced around. Not that like you have to do it that way, it's just for experienced players, you'd want to do a hardcore Nuzlocke for sure. Yeah, Battle Cry is great. That drops attack and special attack by 2. Again, Recharge, that heals you. It works like Charge, but it heals you up. I don't have time to get into every single move buff and change. Just know that these guys have a lot of utility. They're not just like offensive Pokemon. All Pokemon in this hack can fulfill a lot of different roles depending on what your team needs for that specific boss fight. That's kind of part of the hack's design. You're supposed to be able to switch around your sets all the time and, you know, customize your Pokemon and, you know, maybe like adhere them to your specific IVs in nature, you know, optimize them versus your other teammates, you know, to synergize better. But yeah, there are other Pokemon with the ability of Volt Rush, so you can run multiple Volt Rush mons if you aren't playing a Nuzlocke and you just want to use whatever you want. But at that point, you're kind of just playing for fun, not really in like a, you know, challenging type of run. Not that it wouldn't be challenging. I would say if you're a really casual player, it would still be challenging to not Nuzlocke it. Or if you're playing blind, but I would not recommend playing this hack blind at all. But yeah, these are all the Volt Rush Pokemon. There's also tons of new Electric Surge Pokemon, so you can use them instead of manual Electric Terrain. The Heat Rock type items are buffed, but sadly Terrain Extender could not be buffed, so self-setting terrain isn't as good, but it's still great. You know, like lots more Pokemon get Electric Terrain and Grassy Terrain for Grassy Guard via TM, so you can just slap it on there with a Terrain Extender and then Parting Shot or Switch Move into your Electivire or Terrain Abuser, and you'll still have 6 full turns of setup, right? Yeah, 8, 7, 6. You'll have 6 full turns of terrain, which is plenty. That's more than you'd ever really want. So yeah, overall he's the GOAT. He's got good setup, you know, and he's still vulnerable to strong priority attacks, of course, and there's all types of other anti-setup things that I would be putting into place. But you know, if you're smart with when you plan it, you can still get a sweep going with either Proficiency or Volt Rush. You've got all types of great setup moves. I do not have time to get into them all, but you can snowball a lot. Even Rolling Kick will give you +1 speed, so you've got 3 attacking moves that give you a speed boost, and you know, you've got, you know, Bulk Up, Meditate, which is like Bulk Up plus Calm Mind kind of in one move. Yeah, all types of crazy powerful like electric physical moves. Those are all widespread in this hack. Moves like Volt Tackle and Electro Assault and Zing Zap, and you know, even just Wild Charge being 110 base power, reteachable TM, that's great. T-Punch 80 base power. So yeah, as a whole, he's got no shortage of great moves to abuse. thank you so much for listening. I don't know what else to say. There's a couple, you know, you've got Storm Throw. It always crits, and that's 120 base power. It's like Lightning type Wicked Blow. And Belly Drum at the very end of the game is pretty crazy with Volt Rush or just with proficiency. Not proficiency. Well, actually, you could use Belly Drum proficiency with a speed boost. Actually, you could really do that. That'd be kind of cool. You could totally do that because you don't need attack investment to kill shit with Belly Drum. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm gonna leave the video off there. I'll leave you all, you know, to figure out the rest for yourselves. Like Parabolic Charge, Recharge on a bulky Electabuzz or Electivire is pretty damn sick in the terrain. You know, you become super bulky, you heal up all the damage you take. It's really, really fun. Yeah, the sky's the limit with this guy. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back for more coming up. Peace.